Jake Paul, obviously, it seems like he's just really, really poking at the MMA guys. What's your take on that, just in general? I mean, you're talking about a guy who is one of the biggest, I guess, kind of draws in boxing, but he's never fought a guy who even trains in boxing. So it's not like he hasn't fought a boxer. He hasn't fought a guy who even trains in boxing yet. And he's like such a big draw and such a big, newsmaker, I guess, as you want to call it.
It's a weird phenomenon.
It's crazy,
right? Sometimes these things happen and they kind of turn a mirror on society and what we're hungry for, which is, sometimes it can be quite surreal. It's a bit like an episode of Black Mirror. I never know, not sure whether you got into that or not.
Yeah,
but it's like people are more interested in celebrities.
Yeah,
they're more interested in celebrities fighting. What's more important, the fighting ability or the fame of the person? Currently, it's the fame of the person, and that's there's some of the responsibility falls on the MMA guys, to start promoting themselves better and to be more marketable. Because Jake Paul's achieved a lot without boxing skills, as you said. It's the whole thing's a circus, but at the same time, it's not only has it turned a mirror on us as a society and what we have an appetite for, it's also turned a mirror on how much money can be made, and where that money's going. The fact that, Ben Askren went over there and probably made more than all of his UFC fights put together, and maybe all of his one championship fights as well. I don't know what the pay there was, but you've got to imagine he made a lot of money.
I think he made like $2 million. I heard. I don't know, maybe like one or two. For sure one, but I think maybe two, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know for sure.
It's going to make a lot of people consider the free market. It's going to make a lot of people consider fighting out their contracts and then taking some of these random celebrity matches. At the end of the day, we are prize fighters, and we should go where the prize is biggest. That's the smart thing to do. Whether you consider the biggest prize to be the UFC world title or the zeros on the end of your check, it's one or the other.
As far as the Jake Paul thing, Jake, I don't respect his attacks on the MMA fighters and his antics and his immaturity and stuff. But, I still would watch his fights. He's got me hooked. He plays the game very well, and he gets people interested. What's your take on just him in general and what he's doing and how he's going about being kind of the Conor McGregor to like a times 10 to everybody? He has no limits. He's talking shit to the game. He's talking shit to Usman. He's talking shit to Daniel Cormier. He literally has no limits. It's not like a controlled environment like Conor McGregor still in a fight. He's just firing it on all cylinders at everyone.
Yeah, look, he's also a self-proclaimed troll. He even says it. He was on a troll. Sure. So it's like, he does like skits, so it's hard to take him. I don't think is he malicious? I haven't really seen anything malicious. I don't think you should touch anything on anybody's like wives and shit like that. I think stuff like that, that's where it's trouble. You mess with people's family or say something. There is stuff where it's just all right. That could become something else. I didn't like those guys talking shit to Tyron Woodley. It's like, dude, what are you doing, guys?
I hated
that other guy,
J Love. It's that guy J Love, and I made a post about that, and I never get in people's business. But when I saw that J Love or whatever his name is, who's a boxer, who's like a mediocre boxer who's been knocked out a couple times in boxing, and he was talking shit to a Hall of Famer UFC fighter, and Tyron Woodley, 5-time UFC champion. And basically saying he would mop him up right there. And then he was holding up gloves like, you don't know nothing about this. And it was just like, yeah, he doesn't know nothing about this because he fights in 4-ounce gloves. We train in those gloves. That's we wear those gloves to train so we don't hurt each other. And you do that to fight and actually in a sports combat environment. And that really bothered me when I saw that because this guy's he's lacing up Jake Paul's gloves. That's where he's at in his career. And then he's going to talk shit about a 5-time UFC champion. If you were successful, you wouldn't be lacing up somebody's gloves right now. You'd be doing something better.
Yeah, look, that just seems like it's low class. It's not. Yeah. It's not respectful, And Tyron's a laid back dude. He handles that shit better than everybody, better than I would have. It's just because it's hey, you know what? If he gets to that, it's dude, everybody leave the room. Let's be mature about this, but everybody leave the room and let's have a conversation. Yeah. Because then the guy's not. Dude, the guy knows there's a camera there. Yeah. He knows that people even us months later or a month later, we're talking about it. Why? Because the guy, the guy did a douchebag move. Everybody knows it was douchey the way he was talking like that. So listen, people like to be famous just to be infamous. They're gonna not do the right thing by people's standards, but they still get their name out there. Do I agree with it? No. Do I hate on a kid like Jake Paul, who obviously he's training? He's not bad.
No, he's not bad.
I mean, as far as compared to good, I don't know. Like, I don't know. You never really seen him with anybody. Right. And that's not disrespect to Ben, but we know Ben's not the guy's not a boxer. Everything's set to get the clinch and whatnot. But so until we got to see him with another guy that's like maybe looking to do the gloves or something, like a good young kid like that. Then we'll see, something competitive. But until then, who knows, But he's definitely got some skills. He's not a punk up there. Yeah. He's getting sparring in, obviously. It looks like he got some rounds in with Mike Perry and this and that.
A couple news breaks that just happened. Obviously, a big one, the biggest one being Tyron Woodley fighting Jake Paul in boxing. What is your thoughts on that, being a Hall of Famer?
Big?
Huh?
That's big.
To me, he's my friend, so it's a big thing. And the thing is Jake Paul's fighting a real guy. Tyron's been here. He's hit mitts. The guy can punch. He can strike. You know what I mean? He's a wrestler, but he can strike.
I agree. Tyron Woodley has punching power, and obviously he's put a lot of dudes to sleep in his career. Tyron Woodley doesn't look like, the Tyron Woodley of the past that was putting everybody to sleep. He hasn't won a fight in 3 years. He's going to be 40 years old. But I will give it to him. He's at least stepping in there with a guy who can punch.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine. I mean, the guy hasn't been tested yet, so hats off to Jake Paul for taking the fight. I mean, that's a hell of a big step. We're going from Ben Askren to Tyron Woodley, so hats off to him for doing that. But the funny thing is Jake Paul's actually the favorite on all the betting sites too.
Yeah, because it has to do with Woodley's age and his, he hasn't won a fight in 3 years.
What's your prediction on the fight, though? I mean, I know it's boxing rules, and I know Woodley's a wrestler, but he can punch. I mean, the guy can strike. I mean, Jake Paul hasn't fought a guy who can throw punches and move and have the ring experience Woodley has, and Woodley's been knocked out one time in his entire career at 4-ounce gloves. So it's different than Askren. Askren's been running from punches. Woodley's been engaging. So what's your prediction on that fight?
You tell me when the last time you saw Woodley look like Woodley.
But it doesn't matter. He's fighting Jake Paul. That's a big difference. He was fighting the best. Dana, you had him fighting Usman. You had him fighting Colby. You had him fighting Gilbert. Name 3 other guys tougher than that in the welterweight division.
True. You're right.
So that's a big difference, right? So what's your prediction on the fight? Give me that. At least give me that. Jake Paul versus Woodley.
Well, I'd have to go with Woodley by knockout.
Yeah, I think so too.
Listen, man, Woodley should knock him out. But again, the Tyron Woodley you talk about that was the champ isn't the same fucking guy he was, 4 years ago.
All right, fellas, you want to help support the podcast? I know you do. All this content, all these interviews with these fantastic guests that we're putting out for you, well, now you can. And you can save 20% off and get free shipping by getting the best below-the-waist men's grooming products on the market. I'm talking about Manscaped. All you got to do is go to manscaped.com, manscaped.com, enter code QUICK at checkout, 20% off, and free shipping. Quick is my nickname. It is not how you use the product. Don't be silly, fellas. Come on. But Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and now they have the new Lawnmower 4.0, which is next level, the best trimmer on the market ever made. What makes it different? It has skin-safe replacement ceramic blades, controllable LED lights, wireless charging dock, and a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and it's even waterproof. They also have a full line of hygiene and grooming products like the Shears 2.0 Luxury Nail Kit, crop mops, preserver, reviver, and a lot more. Manscaped has everything you need to appeal to your lady friend, but don't thank me, thank yourself. By going to manscaped.com, entering code QUICK, get 20% off, get free shipping. It's a win-win for you, it's a win-win for us, and you're supporting the podcast. So what do you think about Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley? 190 pounds, 20 by 20 ring, 8 rounds, 10-ounce gloves.
I'm on the Dana train. I'm on the Dana train.
We're all old.
You're talking to Tyron Woodley from 4 years ago that was actually unstoppable, that was fast, that was hungry, that did everything. Or are you talking to Tyron Woodley that recently has been 0-4, who hadn't been quite able to pull the trigger, who hit 40 years of age, and 40 is a real number. I've seen it with DC, and it's like you can't turn back Father Time, man. And this is my question. Number one, Tyron can box, and this is a heavy hitter, and if he hits Jake and knock Jake the F out, Jake could do the same to him. One of the questions I have is this. Okay, Jake's been boxing over 3 years with professionals that really know. He's got BJ Flores, who's a hell of a coach. He's got Jacob Chavez, who is a good friend of mine, who's a hell of a coach, who's working to give him advice. He's got some really good people behind him in boxing, okay? Tyron is just going to have to play catch up. So that's another disadvantage for him. The advantage for Tyron is, bro, they're doing a rematch clause. So obviously Jake Paul's people feel that they could lose. Yeah. They feel that they could lose. Why would they give him a rematch clause if they didn't think they could lose? Well, if you're Tyron, what would you do? I'm signing the dotted line. Hey, I'm going to knock the hell out of you, and then I'm going to knock the hell out of you again. I'm going to make triple, quadruple the payday that I've ever made in the UFC. And you know what? People are going to buy into this because this is a real fight. Yeah. Okay, the Ben Askren thing, the hype was good. Ben is a great talker, but Ben can't box. We knew that. Yeah. And I thought Ben was going to come out there and do the Logan Paul type of scenario with Mayweather, where he's all sloppy and wild and wrestling. That's what I thought. That's what I thought Ben was going to do. What does he go out there and try to box with him? I was like, oh no, what is he doing? You can't do that. Yeah. You can't do that. The Jake Paul is no joke as far as his boxing level. This guy, he's got skills, man, and he's got power. He's got speed, And the thing is, with Tyron, guess what? He is talented too. He's experienced. He's got power, and he's got speed. And he has one thing for damn sure: hardly ever been knocked out. Who took him out?
Nate Marquardt. And you think about that, he hit him with a flush, hard elbow with his right. That didn't knock him out. He hit him with an elbow to the left right after that. That didn't knock him out. Then he hit him with a hook. That finally, after two unpadded elbows and a left hook with the 4-ounce glove, stumbled him enough that he was going down. And then Nate hit him with that brutal uppercut as he was going down. And that's the only time he's been knocked out. Now, his last fight, just defending my boy Tyron a little bit, he did pull the trigger. He went after Vincent, and Vincent is a guy with 8 knockouts in the UFC, a vicious striker. He went after him. He took it to him, though he got the worst of it. And he also took multiple punches by Vincent, and we've seen Vincent knock people out with one punch in the UFC multiple times. Tyron took multiple punches and didn't get knocked out, and then they went to the ground, and then he got put in a choke. And Tyron wasn't like giving up and just flopping around like he was knocked out or hurt. He was fighting as hard as he could to get out of the choke, and then he couldn't get out of the choke. So to think that Jake Paul's going to just throw a 10-ounce glove, an overhand, and just hit him one time and knock him down like Ben Askren, I don't see that happening. I honestly can't imagine that happening.
No. But this is what you should expect, okay? This is something that's real. There's 10-ounce gloves. There's 4-ounce gloves. When you're used to sparring with 10-ounce gloves, there's a big advantage when the person that's sparring used to go with 4-ounce gloves. Now he has to do 10-ounce gloves. There's certain things you can do with 10-ounce gloves that you cannot do with 4-ounce gloves. Okay, so Woodley's gonna have to get used to that. So does he have enough time? Is Father Time caught him up? I know one thing: Tyron is a stud. I know another thing too: he's a legend. Okay, I know another thing too: he hits hard. Another thing, he's fast as hell. Another thing, he's happy as hell to fight this guy. So I know all those positives. I know it's going to be a bigger fight than the last one with Askren. This one's going to hit 1.5 to 2 million pay-per-view buys because this is the legit fight. And should Jake Paul get by Woodley? Should. And I say should because there's no guarantee. Because Tyron could just come out there and mop the floor with him. I'm not one to think that ain't going to happen. Bullshit. I didn't think that would happen ever with Ben. And I think personally, the fact that Mayweather wants to help Woodley could be bad and good. Could be bad, but could be good because Mayweather's got an interest in it, and he is the greatest, probably the greatest of all time. And if you got him in your corner, it could give you a big boost. We'll see. I mean, the bottom line is this is a fight people are interested. This is a fight that's going to sell. This is a fight that's going to make both of them very famous, both of them very rich. One's already a famous guy, but Woodley's going to become more of a household name after this. And if he decides that he's going to put it on the line and knocks Jake Paul out, guess what? He's got a rematch clause.
And
now he's
going
to do it again?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Tyron, like, bring it on. That's the best scenario for me. But this is a perfect catalyst, because if he fought another guy like Ben Askren, people would have said, "Hey, F you, man.
Right,
We're not going to spend our money on your ass." But now he's fighting a real legit dude that can actually box.
Yeah.
Tyron can actually box, bro.
We're going to know after this fight.
Does he have the ability to knock Jake out? Yeah. Does he have the ability to knock Jake out in a couple of seconds? Yeah. But does Jake have the ability to do the same to him? Yes. The only thing I'm saying, 2 advantages. Okay, age, Jake Paul, 10-ounce gloves, not used to them. I'm telling you, you better think about that. There is a little difference in that.
Right.
There's a little difference in that. So those are the 2 edges I give Jake Paul. Now, having a hell of a coach in BJ Flores and Jacob Chavez helping him and all the other guys, all the other world-class boxers he boxes, that's a big advantage for him. But so what? Woodley's going to have that too. With Mayweather, he's going to have galore guys to box with. And bro, it's a fight. It's a fight people are going to want to see. I want to see that.
I'm just happy that like he's stepping up and fighting a real fighter now, and I'm going for my boy Tyron Woodley because he's my friend and I've seen him train and I know he's vicious. But at the same time, I'm interested to see what's going to happen, and I'm interested to see what Jake does, whether he does good or whether he doesn't. What he does after that? Does he quit or does he continue, or does he beat Tyron and become a superstar? Like it's going to be interesting either way it goes. But obviously I'm going for my boy Woodley. Can you give me not who you think is or who you want to win or who you favor in any way, but can I get a prediction of what you think you're going to see on August 28th?
I think I'm going to see an explosive knockout. I don't know who. I really don't know who's going to knock out who. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm not betting against Woodley, and I'm not really going against with Jake. I just think you're going to see a fun, exciting fight. I think you're going to see a fight that people are going to go, "Oh, you really got tested here, buddy." It was no cakewalk. This is not going to be a cakewalk. And this is a fight. We're going to see. This is a fight that will tell you if Jake Paul is the real deal or not. I think he is, but we'll see. We know one thing. Woodley is the real deal. That one thing, everybody can agree on that, right? Everybody can agree. Woodley is the real deal. That is the real deal. Not everybody's going to agree on Jake being the real deal. I think Jake is the real deal, but not everybody's going to agree with you. I think 50% or more are going to say he's not, and he's got so much hate on him that more people are going to want to tune in to watch him get his ass beat than people are going to want to see him win.
But I'm saying experience-wise, the longer that fight goes with Jake Paul, the more Tyron Woodley is going to be more comfortable and more strong.
Advantage Tyron's experience. Yes, Woodley has more experience. Look, listen, you asked me who I thought. You asked me honestly. I don't know. No. I know it's a fight I would definitely tune in. I know it's a fight I definitely want to watch because I know that fight could end in the first second and the last bit of the last round. Yeah. And it could be either one of those guys holding their hands up. And I'm kind of happy for Woodley because he's going to get a monster payday, bro. And
I'm loving it.
He's going to get another master payday, monster payday, not master, monster payday. Yeah. So kudos to him. I like Woodley. He came to my gym a long time ago. He trained with us 2 times, right? When Mark Ellis was with us, he came
a long time ago. That's how we met. We were all in the Airdyne and stuff. But he was inspired by how hard we trained, and he was like, "Man, you guys kill it here," And so he started training a little bit with us.
Yeah, I like him. And it wouldn't, if I'm being honest, I would want him to win. Yeah. I just don't know if he can. I don't know. But if you ask me, if you go, Hob, who do you want to win? Woodley. Not even going to second guess that. Hands down, Woodley.
What do you think about this whole thing as far as getting the MMA fighters into boxing?
World is changing. You need to go with this and accept this, because if you don't accept that, the world forget about you, and you will be, just.
Yeah, you're focused on your career, and I totally understand that.
I focus on my opponents, and maybe when I finish my career, I will do something stupid like this.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick. He's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
It's entertainment, dude. I can see Dana White going back on his word like he typically does, and signing these YouTubers, you know, because he's a businessman. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, you know, you build this thing up, you're negative towards it, like just like he was negative about Ronda Rousey, about women's fighting, and just how he was thinking about getting rid of the flyweight division, and then he goes back and he's like, "This is the best thing that's ever happened."
Yeah.
So. We're gonna see Jake Paul in the UFC in the next year.
I think so.
Yeah, and it's predictable, man. I see Dana, dude. That's like it's all about the money.
Do you think Jake Paul's good enough now to beat Tyron Woodley?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, he's gonna beat Tyron Woodley. This is the reason why, Mike. And I'm gonna change your perspective here, because boxing and MMA are two different things. Woodley just has an overhand. He's not a combination fighter. He just has that overhand. That overhand is vicious. But with the 8-ounce glove, a 10-ounce glove, you don't have that much power. This kid, Jake Paul, remember, he's a former wrestler. He's from Ohio. He's been wrestling for quite some time. And he's been around some of the best boxers for the last 3 years in the world. He's actually been taking this shit serious. So for that reason, I think Jake Paul's either going to stop him, depending on how, or he's just going to beat him by decision. Because the sweet science of boxing is just a different game. I even called it with Ben Askren. I'm like, this kid's going to knock him out within the first or second round. I thought Ben for sure was going to last the round. I was wrong. He knocked him out in the first minute, you know. So that's just the way it is, and that's just the way I see it. Now, it's not that I'm going against MMA. I've done both sports. I've done amateur boxing. That sport is different, bro. You can no longer grapple. It's not just about an overhand. It's different, man. You're going to need some combinations, son.
Well, you know, I'm going with my boy Tyron just because he's my boy, and I know he's been boxing for a long time. I saw him at Wildcard years and years ago, boxing pro level, amateur level fighters. He was here doing pad work, doing great. So, I know he does have boxing training and he's experienced there, but I'm interested to see where Jake's going to be in this fight because it's a real fight, you know, and hats off to him if he does good and can show that he really is a fighter and he has potential to keep going. I mean, I have no disrespect for Jake if he turns out to be everything that he, presents. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, anyone that can do it, you have to have respect for. You can't dog a real fighter, and he's going to be a real fighter if he beats Tyron.
Yeah. But like I said, these are my takes. These are my takes from watching it, and Tyron hasn't done so well. You know, let's call a spade, man. He's been on the losing streak. You know what I'm saying? There's a chemical imbalance like in his head that has taken him to that level. You know what I'm saying? There's two reasons why my people don't succeed. There's one, they think they're better than what they really are, and then two, it's just a lack of confidence. So it's one or the other, man. He's gonna have to figure that out. Because I remember I seen Woodley when Woodley was on fire, he was on fire, you know. But there's something there's a switch that tends to happen and I believe it happens after your first defeat, your first loss, when you finally see that you're not untouchable. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to honesty. You know, am I as good as I think I am? Or is my confidence at that level as what it used to be? Those are the questions that I have for him.
Well, we'll find out. And man, I want to thank you for taking the time out for me, and hopefully we can get back and talk about this Woodley Jake fight afterwards and see what happened and see who was right.
I'll be back on your show. We'll talk about that Jake Paul, that Woodley fight.
Yeah, but you got to still come back on when Woodley beats him. You can't be like, I'm all busy and I can't get on your show. And I'll be easy on you, bro. I won't come down hard. You know what I'm saying? I got no Tyron's gonna win, but I'll be easy on you. You just got to promise me you're gonna come on and at least give me a few minutes to relish in this.
All right. Why don't we do a 10 push-up then? Why don't we raise the bar, D?
Okay, what?
Let's do for the loser.
Okay.
Loser does 10 push-ups.
10 push-ups?
Yeah, just 10 push-ups on air.
All right. 25.
All right, 25.
25. No stretching, no warm-up, just 25 push-ups, the loser.
All righty. You got it.
What do you think about Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul? And what do you think about this whole circus of boxers and YouTubers and basketball players and fighters and all this shit going on right now? It's entertaining. I've learned to kind of accept it.
I think it's an interesting fight only because of how Woodley has been fighting of late. You know, if it was like the Woodley on his way up, like there's no way this guy had a shot.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not happening. But based on the way Woodley has been performing, the last one he fought well until he just left himself like super defensively irresponsible, where he got clipped where shots that he should never have gotten hit with. But that's the fight game. I think he just really, really wanted to pull the trigger to shut some people up. And I'm just glad he actually fought. Like, he didn't sit there passive against the cage the entire time. And it was a barn burn of a first round. Other than that, so I think Jake Paul is the better boxer of the Paul brothers. So he's got the size. It's a very interesting matchup because I don't know how good Paul really is. I don't think Woodley's that great of a boxer, but I know he has power. You know, people think that us MMA fighters are boxers. We're not boxers. We're MMA fighters. We have a mix of everything. You know, Woodley's proficient in wrestling. If it was a wrestling match, I'd take Woodley all day long. You know, so it's just a little different. But I'm hoping that Woodley wins for the culture because we need that.
Yeah.
We need this one. We can't have another Ben Askren thing because that would just be I don't even know. At that point, I'm just like, I bring in all the YouTubers. These are the real guys now.
Yeah, well, it makes you feel better. I hate to jinx it, which like at this stage, I believe anything can possibly happen. But I was with Tyron for years when he was back in wild card boxing, and he was boxing with pros back then and doing really well, and he was spending a lot of time working on boxing every day. He was in Thailand a couple times, and his focus mitts and everything. Like I think he's on, and I think you're right. I think he's not a boxer per se. Like that's not his style. But I would say that he's definitely far enough along. It's going to be a surprise for Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul with so many yes men, and like you can sit here and act mean and say all this stuff you want, like I'm saying, but it's like in reality, you know it's true. Like you know what I'm talking about. You have yes men around you when you're famous and when you're successful at things. You have to imagine he has to have a certain amount of yes people around him, and that's not helping his decisions on fighting guys like Tyron Woodley. And as he gets to the level where he's fighting better and better fighters like that. He's gonna hate those guys when that second place comes. He's gonna fucking
100%. And that's good to hear. The one thing I will say though is for Paul, I don't think he has anything to lose.
Yeah, that's another thing. He's a crazy bastard.
Yeah, that's the dynamic right there that I'm concerned about because it's like this guy, he's gonna get a huge payday and he's gonna fight a big name, and for him, it's like a win-win. If he loses, it's like, okay, you should have lost to a guy who was a former world champion. But if he wins, it's like, damn, Woodley, you should never have lost to this guy. And now this guy is going to continue the circus. So it's a weird spot. It's a spectacle fight for me, but it's still fun. I enjoy what they're doing because they're bringing attention and they're showing that there is money out there to be made for the fighters. And hopefully more of us can, or should I say, hopefully that the income or the paychecks increase for everybody as a whole, So I think that's the one thing I like that the Paul brothers are doing and kind of exposing. I don't want to say expose because it makes it sound weird, but showing some light onto the sport that there is real revenue to be made with these fighters and these big fights.